Back again with another video. Listen, if you can see my board behind me, I got a few words written down on there, and those are basically going to be the topics that I'll be discussing on today's video. If you can't see that, here it is right here. I'll be going over in detail about Nibiru, aliens, outer space, heliocentrism, and I'll also be discussing the flat earth model and the differences between the two. Alright? Now, if you've seen my last video, you know this is pretty much part 2 of a build that I had with my 17-year-old son. Alright? My 17-year-old son was just like me. He's heavily into the heliocentric model, and I was too. And so basically, now that I've stepped out of that matrix, I'm trying to educate him on this geocentric model to make sure that, you know, even though he's being taught that shit in school, he know what the real deal is and the real reality that he's living in today. And he can basically ace that shit at school. Ace all that stuff at school based on the new reality that we're living in today and the falsehoods that they taught today and in the past. And so we want to make a distinction between that in our homes with our children. We want to make sure, even though my son's 17 years old, that's not like too late, too old to teach him, because think about it. It's a lot of y'all grown folks, 30, 45 years old, that still don't know where y'all at. Y'all still don't know what, you know, what surface y'all are on. Y'all think y'all on a round ball that's spinning at 1,000 miles per hour on this axis. And you've been taught that. You've been taught that from a very young age. And basically, we want to dispel all that now. I know it's not going to happen overnight, but we want to dispel that, and we want to get the truth into the mind of our youth. You see this? Nibiru, aliens, outer space, heliocentric. We'll be discussing that in detail. And in no particular order, we're just going to go through these slides and get it going. Here we go. Are extraterrestrials real? Right? Now, in the old way, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to be breaking in here. I'm going to be teaching. I'm going to be pulling up notes. I'm not going to go to my whiteboard behind me. I'm just going to pull up my notepad here. All right. Check it out. Are these extraterrestrials real? Oh, this is what I was going to do. Let's spell out the word extraterrestrial. In the old world way of thinking, the way we used to think back in the day, we would say extra, terra, and then we would say astral, meaning an extra being or extra thing that has entered Earth's atmosphere from the astral plane or the stars. All right. In the old world way of thinking, that's how we were thinking. We still want to kind of use that definition, but for the purposes of this video, we're going with the new world way of seeing things. Or when I say the new world, because you have to realize we are now today in the hereafter. We are now today in the hereafter. We're not, you know, still stuck in the past. A lot of people still think they're spinning and traveling all through the earth, you know, all through space and all that stuff. That is not reality. That's not reality. And today, we want to break down the new definition or the new meaning of what this word astral or extraterrestrial would mean. So when you break it down like this, extra, terras, you see the word trial at the end. Extra Earths on trial. So that's the purpose of that question there that you see. Are extraterrestrials real? Extraterrestrials, are they real? Right? Meaning extra terra firma planets, so-called planets like Mercury, Mars, Venus. Are they real? The moon. Are they real? Are they true terra firma where someone can go and actually step on the planet, plant their feet on the planet, and that planet or that plane be able to produce what's known as plants? Because if you look at the word planet, yeah, you see the word plane. However, if you use the word magic, you can look in there and you can also see the word plant. Okay? And we all know that plants grow on a flattened plane. You have to grow plants on a level surface with the right amount of soil, the right amount of fertilizer. Okay? And I've never seen a person plant a garden on a curved surface and it grow and bear fruit. I've never seen it. I've only seen it on a flat plane. Okay? So the earth is a flat plane and it supports life. It supports growth from its plane. The mother plane. It supports growth from it. So I'm getting a little ahead of myself, but a planet must be qualified to be a planet by being able to produce plants. By being able to plant your feet down on it. It must be terra firma. And these are the things that we want to ask. We want to question these things because they say we went to the moon. They say we did that. However, every piece of evidence that I've seen that supposedly proves that they went to the moon is some bullshit. Meaning, if you look at any of the moon landing footage, you'll see a lot of inconsistencies and a lot of contradictions and a lot of things that just don't make sense. Okay? Now, I'm not going to really go over those things in the moon landing in this video. I got another video that kind of delves into the moon landing thing, and I'll be posting more videos on that to break down the science or the lies behind what they want you to believe the moon actually is. All right, so let's keep it moving. We don't want to get stuck on that. I just had to rant a little bit about that, but we want to know the true meaning behind the word extraterrestrial, and we just broke that down as being extra Earths on trial. We want to put these terra firmas like Mars, Mercury, the moon, Venus. We want to put those planets on trial because they say they're terra firma like us, like our planet, like our plane of existence. Now, they already done gave up on Pluto, Uranus, Neptune, all of them, because they just straight up tell you they're just big gas balls. They just get big gas clouds or whatever. And they land on that too, I believe. But you know what? We're talking about the terra firma, the things that they've said to us that they've done or so-called proven to do, such as go to the moon, put Mars rovers on Mars, doing explorations there. We want to know if those planets are real. This is the so-called model of the solar system that they've taught us for pretty much all your life. This is what you've been taught. This is what you know. And Earth is supposed to be a little blue ball that's spinning and floating around the sun out there in a heliocentric model. Is this model true? Is this something that can be proven as a fact, or is this just a belief? Because we already know that if you go back to that picture, that was a computer-generated picture, easily, proven that it was a computer-generated. It's computer-generated. All right. Moving on, what we want to do is find out whether or not is this planet that you say you're on, this plane that they say we're on, is it spinning like you see the picture? Have you ever felt a spin? Have you ever felt it spinning? No, these are hands-on personal experiments that you must do in order to get back in touch with your senses, because they have maimed your senses by conditioning you to believe in mumbo-jumbo science or pseudoscience, meaning they have made you neglect your own senses. You can clearly look, without going to all the so-called bullshit formulas and math formulas and all that stuff that they can just make up in order to fit their theories. You can go outside right now and just stand still and see if you feel the planet moving. You'll feel a breeze of the earth wind, the natural wind, but do you feel it spin like you're going, 75, 60 miles down the road. Or if you're on the merry-go-round. There's no doubt if you're on the merry-go-round, you feel that shit spinning. There's no doubt that if you're in a car going 75 miles per hour, you feel it spinning. There's no doubt about that. You know it. So if they say we're spinning at 1,000 miles per hour, you should be able to go outside and feel it. I know that sounds simple, but that's truly how simple the truth is. The truth is very, 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 very simple. We have been conditioned to build ourselves up with so much knowledge, knowing this and knowing that, and all these intricacies of knowledge when truth is right in front of your face and very simple. Okay? So, do a little experiment like that for yourself, for your own mind, for your own peace of mind. Is the earth spinning? No. Look outside. Go and look at the moon sometimes. And really look at that thing and say, damn. Do I truly have the ability to see 270,000 miles at this thing? I'm not saying that, yeah, because that theory is just so big that we can't help but see it. I understand that theory, but the point is, can you see 270,000 miles away? Can you see 93 million miles away? Can you see trillion? They show you stuff that you supposedly can see with your naked eye, hundreds, thousands of light years away. Hundreds and thousands of light years away. Yet they say that you can see it. Some of these things are specks of dust or light with your naked eye, like Polaris. It says 434 light years away. Yet you can see it with your naked eye. Come on, family. We got to get out of this backwards thinking. We got to get out of this just believing whatever they tell us. They've gotten you thinking that you got super ray vision and you could see 93 million miles away, and that you could see 270,000 miles away, or that you could see 434 light years away. Come on, family. Think about it. Think about how ridiculous that shit sounds. You can't see that goddamn far. All that's saying is that shit is not as far as they say it is. It's not. It's not as far as they say it is. They make you think that shit's so far away so they can explain away parallax. But it's not that far away. And all you got to do is believe in your own eyes. I'm not saying that you should have, total 100% faith and trust and truth in your own eyes, but you should start using them shits every now and then in order to break out of the spell. Because it is true that you're under a spell. It is true. We all are. And we got to learn to break out of this. We got to learn to break out of this spell because, if we don't start learning to think for ourselves, it's just going to continue. The bullshit that you all complaining about and we need to fix, all that shit going to just continue to happen until we start learning to think for our fucking selves. Once we learn to think for ourselves, then we can determine the path of our journey. We can determine that shit and not the other way around, where they give you a multiple choice of shit to do and shit to follow. You see what I'm saying? Not a true choice from your soul, from your being, your true being, with your true eyes open, with you in your right mind. Not this bullshit pseudoscience that they got you trapped in, thinking you're spending 1,000 miles per hour, 60,000 damn miles per hour through the damn around the sun, over 666,000 damn miles per hour through the damn boundless universe in a fucking void. And none of that shit can be proven in any practical explanations or any kind of practical thing. It can't. So they make up some old fantastic bullshit to have you believe in it. Have your heart, mind, and soul trapped up and wrapped up in that shit. Till somebody like me come out and say some simple shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, that shit ain't flat. I mean, that shit ain't round. Have you felt the spin? This is some more simple shit. And then you want to get mad and say that I'm dumb, or the people who think that way are dumb. But it can get a lot deeper than that. It can get a lot deeper than that. My whole thing is not to really prove flat earth. My thing is to show how ridiculous it is to believe in a fucking round spinning earth. That's some ridiculous shit. First of all, one of the first things we have to figure out is, do y'all believe in like this picture right here on the screen? it's kind of, it's not a full circle because of how the picture was cropped it. But, do y'all believe in a round ball or an oblate spheroid or a pear? Because I've heard all three. You see what I'm saying? And they always show you these round circle or these round discs, because it's not you have to look at this from what it truly is. They're trying to make you think that it's a 3D structure. But when you look at it, it's really a flat fucking structure, but they make it curved. They look like they put effects to it to make it look like it's truly a sphere. So any regular old person that just looking at this, and I was to say, look at this picture in front of you. Is this picture a flat disc drawn on the paper, or is it a sphere drawn on the paper? Most of them say it's a sphere. That's how deep they done got you in the spell. This shit is flat. You looking at it by the artist, how he or she drew it. And because they're so good at drawing, they give you the illusion that it's round, that it's a sphere, just by looking at it. But the actual picture that you're looking at is a flat surface. And it's made to give you the impression that it's round. Point I'm making is, it's easy to deceive people who aren't open-minded. It's easy to deceive people who don't give a shit about the size or the shape or the nature of the planet that they so-called reside on. It's easy to deceive people, and they've been doing it for quite some time. I got another video that I'm gonna come out with, going back into the the 1400s, 1600s, 1500s, that's gonna break down some more of this Nubian stuff, or this 19th galaxy stuff. But anyway, I digress on that. Let me keep moving, because that's a ridiculous ass picture there. We know that shit is just not, it's just not real. When you look at this question here, I put on here, what is a planet? Before we look at the definition of what a planet is, we already know that they say a planet is simply a wandering star, or a wandering planet, something that's wandering through the so-called solar system or boundless universe, just wandering around. However, when you look at the word planet, they both come from the late Latin. You get the word flattened plane. Okay? You get the word flattened plane. The word planet, the way it was taught to you, means wandering planet, like I just said. Or a celestial body that orbits a star. Alright? A planet is a flattened plane within a net, like my good brother Sanchez teaches. A flattened plane within a net. Look at the word. You see the word plane. You see the word net there. However, we notice in a lot of the Holy Tabernacle Ministry camps, Nubian camps, we know this to be true based on the stories that we were taught about Tiamat and Marduk in the battle that they had when Marduk split Tiamat in half, and then trapped her in a net. Those are the ancient stories of the Sumerians. We know about those things. The thing is, you have to see that the word is plane. There's a word, the root word in that word is plane. Okay? You live on a plane of existence. When airplanes fly, they fly upon they call them airplanes because the air up there is flat. The surface of the air surface is flat, just like the ground surface is flat, just like water is level, just like sea level. Everything is flat. Not everything, but the main thing is the planet that you walk upon, the plane that you walk upon, the horizon is flat. That's why they call it horizon. It's a horizontal line, not a fucking, vertical line. It's a horizontal. That's why they call it horizon, horizontal. And yes, the plane does have features on it. The plane does have mountains and valleys, peaks and lows. That's the plane. It does have those things. So we don't want to waste time on the definition of the word flat being smooth and flat, because just because it has those dips and levels and rises and valleys and stuff, that doesn't mean that the plane still isn't flat. You can have all those things within it, up top of it, below it, this and that, but it's a flat plane that supports it. Okay? It's a flat plane that supports it. I'll get into the science of the numbers of that in another video, the 360 degrees of a circle and 360 degrees of a square. And we all know that what perfect or perfect creator would use a circle in order to support something, or a sphere in order to support something. No, you're going to use a box or a square. You see what I'm saying? You're going to use a cube or a square, a flattened surface, in order to support things, in order to give it a foundation. But we'll get into all that at another time. Let's move on. Yep, you want to know if these things are terra firma. You gotta excuse me, family. My shit running real slow. Are they? You believe this model? This is what we've been taught. Terra firma, dry land, the ground as distinct from the sea or air. Firm land. Now, when you take that definition into consideration, we want to know, is Mercury terra firma? Is Venus terra firma? We know Earth is, because we're on it. Is Mars terra firma? Is the moon terra firma? See, we have to dig in and question these things, because they said that we went to the moon. They said that we got rovers here on Mars. Hell, they probably even got shit all out here, or whatever they said that's out there. Is it true? When you look at the pictures that they show us, nah, that shit ain't true. And to be honest with you, that really should be the first line of questioning when you're dealing with people like that, because when I question, in my experience, when I question people on whether or not they live on a spinning ball or a flattened plane, most of them say, I live on the spinning globe. Yeah, we spinning. And so, and I get it, because I used to believe that shit too. I really did. And so what I do is, and I say, well, is it a pear shape? Is it a oblate spheroid, or is it an actual perfect sphere? And most of them say it's a perfect sphere. And I say, well, why do you believe that? What makes you think that that's what's happening? Say, well, you can go to NASA and look at any of the pictures, and they'll show you that we're on the ball. And I say, boom, there it goes right there. Most people, even I look at how highly evolved consciously they are, they will not doubt NASA. They won't. For some reason, they will not doubt NASA. They won't go into questioning NASA, but they'll question everything else. You know what I'm saying? They'll go and question, chemtrails. They'll go and question, whether or not are we truly from Africa, out of Africa. They'll question everything, any and everything. And don't get it twisted, the out of Africa theory is very, very interesting, and I'll be making videos on that too. But they won't question the true nature of their planet. They take it for granted. You know why? This is my theory on that. They've had great teachers, and these teachers taught them, you know, and were so profound to them in their lives that they took these teachers' words as gold, meaning they never really went and invested. All they did was find out where they got their information from, and that was it. That was the furthest of their extent of research. That's how far it went. They didn't go into to find out whether it was true or not. They automatically up front, without objection, believed that it was true, and went into their research with a biased attitude or a biased mind, looking for what they wanted to find, and not really looking for the truth of whether or not what their teacher taught them was true or not. You see what I'm saying? I gave the example in the last video about Santa Claus. It's up to the children to find out whether things are true or not. You see what I'm saying? And when I say the children, you got to realize that one child just don't go out into the world on their own by themselves and they got to figure all this shit out on their own. No, they got peers, they got friends, family. All of this is what I mean. We can't teach our children everything. We can't just give them everything. They have to learn to be in a communal system where they can learn from each other. And they can determine whether or not shit is true or not. Just like Santa Claus. Just like the Easter Bunny. You see what I'm saying? All this shit children figure out on their own whether it's true or not. You didn't really have to tell them. Hell, you went to a lot of great extents to try to lie to them to make them think that it was true. I know you used to take them on Easter egg hunts and all that shit. And they get into the traditions of things and never really question it. Same thing with the planet. Are these so-called planets like Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, the Moon, are they truly terra firmas? Or is it just a myth? What are we dealing with here, family? Now read this. Okay. Are these so-called planets real terra firma? We just spoke about that. Also, notice how large they portray the sun and how small they make Earth look. It's all an illusion, just like Ilion and Nibiru. Alright, now here's where I go in on the whole Ilion thing, the whole Nibiru thing. Like I pretty much briefly did in the last video, but I want to go over it in a little bit more detail here today. If you see the word Ilion, those are the Nuwabian camps and Holy Tabernacle Ministries, and because I know some of y'all brothers are super conscious. I mean, y'all got tons of knowledge, all kinds of knowledge. I mean, super conscious. I mean, I don't really learn a whole lot from a lot of y'all dudes, but I know a lot of y'all are very smart and very conscious, and you see things totally, the way your teacher saw them, and that's understandable. That's understandable. So, what I want to do today is talk about this thing. When you look at the word Ilion simply means the most high, or on high, or the highest. Okay? Now, we all grew up or was taught about the 19th galaxy. And so a lot of people, when we see that, and we know that the name of the 19th galaxy is Ilion, we want to make Ilion a place somewhere. And instead of making it a title, right? This is an illustration of what they say Nibiru looks like. And I'm sure when Brother Sanchez get his hands on this, he gonna probably break this down even further. And this is a picture of Polaris. And if you didn't know, Polaris is a 3-star system, just like they say Ilion is. And this is just some garbage illustration of the so-called planet Earth getting destroyed by an asteroid that they teach us. The heliocentric model is always trying to teach this death and destruction. They always teach us some type of fear tactic in order to keep you in bondage, in order to keep you controlled. They always come up with some fear shit like this picture here with the planet getting all fucked up and smashed to pieces, when there ain't never been no kind of proof of that shit ever happening at all, ever. Those are just stories, family. And of course, here's Polaris. Now, Ilion, like I say, is the highest point. It also, when you hear the word Ilion, you can also kind of hear the word illusion. Ilion. You can kind of hear the family of the resemblance of the words. Why am I saying illusion? Because all of this shit is an illusion. You were taught. You were taught an illusion. All of this shit is illusionary. Nibiru, it's illusionary. We know the story of Nibiru and coming from the 19th galaxy. We went through that whole thing of showing that there was a planet of the crossing called Nibiru, so-called, that came from the 19th galaxy, traveled through the boundless universe into the 18th galaxy, and one of its 4 winds, or one of its 4 satellites, crashed into the planet, splitting it in 2, creating your flattened plane on the bottom, and Nibiru capture her in the net, and your net is supposedly the covering or the firmament over your planet. We know these things. However, ain't no goddamn way you can prove any of that to be true. Those are just stories, family. Those are just ancient stories that were constructed to let those who have an eye to see and those who have an ear to hear the truth within it. We just would have to research it to find out if the shit true or not, first of all. So we can't prove any of that stuff ever happening. We would have to have what they call, faith. Ilion or Ilion simply means the most elevated point. As a position and as a title, it means the most high, the highest. Ilion, El. So let's move on with these slides that I have. Okay. As you can see here in the book of Psalms, chapter 82, verse 6, I have said, ye are gods, and all of you are children of the Most High. That word there, the Most High, when you look it up, you translate it, it means, the word there is actually Ilion. Okay. Ilion, from Allah, an elevation, lofty. As a title, the supreme, most high, upper, the most. Ilion, the supreme, most high. So family, we know that the word Ilion means the most high. We know that it's a very elevated point. And as I said in several other videos that I've made, the most high point that you can tell in your world and in your existence that you can actually see with your own eyes, with your naked eyes, is Polaris, the North Star. The star that all the other stars gravitate around, or I don't want to say gravitate, all the other stars rotate around closely and outwardly in a circle. There are time-lapse photos of it all over the internet. Just look it up. Polaris, the North Star. All right? It's all over the place. The North Star is the highest point. It is the highest star. Now, that would be considered Ilium. That would be considered the most high point. But science, or pseudoscience, I must add, will make you believe or try to make you think that there are stars more northern than the North Star, more higher than the North Star. And that's the whole trick of the so-called devil. He wants to raise up higher than the Most High. So he'll give you Orion, he'll give you Sirius, he'll give you all of these different places that supposedly 3 to 4 times more distant than the North Star. You see what I'm saying? But yet we don't use none of them shits to guide us. Excuse me. We don't use none of them to guide us. We use the North Star to guide us. The North Star doesn't move, family. The North Star is resting. It's a resting point. It's what Voyagers, even to this day, use as a guiding post. The North Star is the guiding light. The North Star is the steering star. This is what it is. Look it up. So, with the North Star being the guiding light, you can see here that in its description or definition that the North Star is called the guiding light, the steadfast star, the lodestar, all right, the fixed star. So, and every other star rotates around it, the Most High. Okay, and by the way, let me interject something here. And I got to now because I made a video like 4 or 5 years ago about whether or not the woman is God, whether or not the black woman is God. And to this day, I get flat comments on that by some old dick in the booty ass niggas who can't seem to understand that they did not come from another man, they came from a woman. We're not trying to say woman, is more powerful or better than men. No. We're saying that your mother, your grandmother is your cherished one in your families. Look around in your families. I don't care who it is. Look around in your families, and your big mama or your big grandmama is one of the most respected, one of the most cherished, loved persons in your family. Grandpa might come second, but not before Big Mama. You understand that? So your punk asses who still out there thinking and worshiping another nigga, another man, you keep on doing that. You keep on doing that while we give respect and honor to our females, to our mothers, and treat them the way they're supposed to be treated. Put them back in the places where they're supposed to be at. You ain't come from no nigga. You ain't come from no other man. You came from a female, son. So cut all that other bullshit, all that crap out, man. When we say that the woman is God, we say that because every goddamn man that came out of that clan that she's a part of came from her. That's why they call her Eve, the mother of all living. That's why they call her Nekeba, the tribal leader. You understand? She is God. She is the mother of God. You're God, and you're the son of God, because she's God. But you're the mother. She's the mother of God. So since you don't want to be so booty hurt by me saying that the black woman is God, hell, all women are gods of their own kind. All of them. And when you consider the fact that the North Star, Polaris, is the most high star, right? When you consider that it's the highest point, right? You feel that that is the most high, or at least a representation of the most high. Now let me give you a little more juice on it. Now, I want y'all to look this up for yourselves. They also give in science a term to the North Star. They call it Alpha Umi. Do you know what the word Umi means, my brother? It means my mother. You know what the word Alpha means, my brother? It means the leader. The most high. The most high mother. Yo, booty hurting niggas. I can't stand. You know what? They hid the Most High from you. They hid the mother all your life. They give you the Father, the Son, and they give you the Holy Ghost. They didn't tell you that the Holy Ghost part was your mother. The hidden one. The hidden one. The Amun. They didn't tell you that. Like Amunet. They didn't tell you that. The Holy Ghost factor is the mother factor because she's the hidden one. They just gave you the mother and the father and the son when it's supposed to be the father, the mother, the father, and the son. And the son is simply the son of God. And the gods are the mother and the father. And the mother of God is the mother. You feel me? So, I mean, you're out there talking shit about being on, one God and all this man, I understand where you're coming from because I also have made videos on the Father. I also have made videos on respecting the Father. Okay? But you can't deny that the mother is the Most High, the Creator. You can't deny that she's the birther. You can't deny that she gives birth to all life. And you also can't deny the intelligence of the Father. But the mother is the Creator. And for all of you who think that women ain't gods and men ain't God, all this stuff, listen, this is just terms that we use in order to wake our people up. We've been woken up by those terms. Instead of calling us dogs, what's up dog, what's up nigga, what's up, we started calling each other gods, and that put us in a new frame of mind, gave us a better perspective on how to see each other, how to respect each other and ourselves. You understand? That was just one little small level of the awakening, to say, because at one time they used to call us less than human. You feel me? So you got to break out of that and come out of that somehow. And the way you come out of that as gods. And you can't come out of it as a male god without bringing your female out of it with you. You feel me? So don't get caught up on the words gods and all that. No, all that's saying is the mother, the feminine principle is the creation principle. It's the birthing principle. All right? That's what we're saying. It's the protecting principle. Yes. So, The North Star is the guiding star. The North Star is the fixed star, the steadfast star. You know, the steering star, the mother, Alpha Umi, almost like Amma, the Dogon goddess, Amma. And another thing to that is Amma, from my studies, and I got some more to do, but from what I've gleaned from my studies in Amma, Mama Amma is simply a duality, a balanced duality between male and female. They call it Amma, right? But if you look it up, you will find that Amma is the same as Amen, as in Amen Ra. Amma is the same as Amen. We all know Amen is a male deity. We all know Amma is a female deity. So together, they give you the balance between the feminine and the masculine principle. And when they come together, they give you the Son of God. If they create a daughter, they create another creator. They create another, birther, another protector, another mother. Okay? So, no matter where you go, no matter what culture you look in, you're going to always see the female worshipped. You're going to always see the female being revered. I don't care where you go. You'll always see the female being revered. Look in the Sumerian, the ancient Sumerian tablets. Look in what Tiamat, they call Tiamat, a big dragon, right? If you type out the word Tiamat, you get the words Amma in there. You see that? You also get the word Ma'at in there. You see that? You also get the word Tia. You see that? All feminine principles within the names. So the female is the Most High. Hope y'all see that. I don't care where you go, the female has always been revered. Always. And even in your old mind, and you thinking, I ain't never with you. As soon as you get off this, watching this video, and you go outside and you see a female with a gorgeous shape, trust me, you're worshiping her. You're feeling desire for her. You may not act on it, but the point is, we worship women, and we know it. It's just y'all dick and the booty ass niggas who can't face up to that fact. That's all. So, anyway, here we go. Planet Risk, the 19th galaxy of Ilion. And you see the arrow there that's showing you where Risk is. R-I-Z-Q, the planet Risk, the 8th planet. This so-called diagram or map of Ilion is a diagram of a 3-star solar system with Risk dead center in the middle. The 8th planet, by the way, out of 19 planets and 38 moons. Now, the word risk, let me give you a little breakdown on this. The word risk simply means to take the necessary risk to provide for your family, communities, and native countrymen, women of Earth. Key. All right. Now, a lot of people might be upset. They might be a little disappointed, but that's okay. That's okay. Because the truth hurts sometimes. The truth does hurt. Okay? All this is trying to tell you is that, because if you look up the word risk, and we all know, the Nubians know the definition of this word, it means to provide, the providers. And all this means is to take the necessary risk to provide for family, communities, and native countrymen and women of Earth. Key. We all know that key at one time was the ancient name of this planet. It was sometimes spelled with a K or a Q, but they both interchangeable. Key. The inhabitants of the planet were known as Riskians. You see the word key in there, right? There's some more stuff in there I can point out, but for the purpose of what I'm trying to explain here, you see the word key. Now notice the word key is just another word for earth, like I just said. Key is simply another word for earth. Now family, like I said many times before, and I keep referring you to this example. It's just like your mama and your daddy telling you little stories about the Easter Bunny and, you know, Santa Claus and all that. Because after a while, you're not going to take the word of your parents. You're going to start doing your own investigations to find out what's true or not for you. What makes sense for you. This is what we must do. Risk is simply earth. That's all. They just hid it in the words. They hid it in the words. All right. So, family, we all was taught that from Nibiru, or from the planet Risk, Nibiru traveled out from Risk and traveled into the 19th galaxy. Okay, we know that. We've been taught that. And we know that it used to be on the, called an their 1 year orbit used to be 26,000 years. It was called an or AAMS, right? But on one particular trip of those 26,000 years, or what we know as a procession, we mark that as time for a procession. But on one of those trips, Nibiru got into some interference, crashed into a couple of planets, took some of their moons, and then crashed into the planet Earth. And because of that crash, it took Nibiru off its 26,000 year orbit and altered its orbit into a shorter orbit called a SHAR, which is a 3,600 year orbit. So Nibiru supposedly orbits or comes back around near the Earth's atmosphere or area every 3,600 years. Okay. Now you see on my screen I got Heru pulled up. When you look at the word and you see at the top, I say it's all an illusion, just like Nibiru. When you break down the word Nibiru, you simply get Neb Heru. Neb Heru. Or Neb Hebrew. Nibiru. 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 Nehebrew. Nibiru. Look at this definition here. It says high, above, like Ilion. But not as high, because it's not the highest. But it's high above. What would be high above and contributed to Heru? You know, the sun. Okay. And we'll continue to see that as we read on. Heru symbolizes leadership. Heru is known even before the advent of hieroglyphic writing from depictions on pre-dynastic pottery and walls of hawks and standards with the hawk sitting on top of them. Nothing escaped the watchful eye of the true Heru. Earlier forms of Heru depicted him as an abstract sky god with the sun and moon, his two eyes. So, when you look at the word Heru, we know we're talking about a deity that represents the sun, and in this case, the sun and the moon are his eyes. Okay. When you look at Nibiru, Hebrew, Neb simply means master or Lord. Hebrew, the word Hebrew means to cross over. We know that when we look at the word Nibiru, what do we call it? What do we give it as New Orleans? We know this. What do we call it? The planet of the crossing. The planet of the crossing. That's what we call it. Or that's what the definition of the name Nibiru is. To cross over. That's what its roots come from, Hebrew. To cross over. Not the language Hebrew. Hebrew is not really a language. It's simply an action taken by Abram. But that's another story. Hebrew is an action to cross from one side of a river to another. Or to cross over one side of open water to another. Different things are popping up in my head right now. So, but I don't want to get off track. So anyway, let's move on. So we know we're talking about something that crosses over. And we specifically, we talk about Nibiru. The planet of the crossings. The planet of the crossing. That's what Nibiru means. So when you break the word down, Nibiru, Neb Hebrew, you get master, the Lord, to cross over. Hebrew. Right? This Neb, this master, or this Heru, is representative of the sun. Let's keep on learning. Heru. He was a sky god whose face was visualized as the face of the sun. Are you getting this, family? Heru is simply the face of the sun. The side of the sun that you see when you see the sun is representative of Heru or Horus. All right. So when you think about on a flattened plane, now I know the people, the bald heads, the people who still believe in the globe, you're not going to get this. You're not going to understand this part. Or you might, but it's not going to make sense to you probably. But the people who live on a ball, the people who know they live on a flattened plane, they'll get this. So, Nibiru, the planet of the crossing. As we just broke that down, simply, it's the sun. And you see the sun cross over every day. It's been in your face every day, all your life. You've seen so-called Nibiru, the crossing, the planet of the crossing.